What actually happened to Jade in episode 5? Full breakdown the mushroom trip. What was real? What wasn't? Jade's mushrooms kicked in, and Boyd accompanied him as a grounded anchor throughout the entire vision quest. Here is where it gets deeply layered. Boyd points out that the spiders aren't real, gets Jade to sit down, and they agree a safe word. Capricorn. So that if things get too dangerous, Boyd can pull him back from the hallucinations. Now pay attention to that word, Capricorn. The constellation Capricornus is sometimes associated with the Greek god Pan, who is synonymous with music. Jade plays the violin. This was not a random choice. Music is the key, and the show is quietly screaming that at you, the 5 past incarnations. The biggest reveal. Jade is forced to drink blood from a ghostly skull presented by the Nail Eye Guy, which triggers an encounter with 5 distinct ghosts playing a haunting violin piece, all revealed to be Jade's previous murdered life loops. Here is the hidden theory nobody is talking about yet. Jade has lived and died in Fromville at least 5 times before. Every single loop ends the same way. And the most horrifying part? Every single one of his past incarnations wasn't killed by the forest's nocturnal creatures, but rather brutally slaughtered by their own panicked friends and neighbors after the local children, the Anghkooey, began calling out to them. Young Jade called it minnows in a shark's net. Jade inferred that these previous versions of himself were butchered by their friends and neighbors. Hidden theory number 1. The town uses paranoia as a weapon. The entity doesn't need to kill Jade directly. It just waits for the residents to do it themselves. The moment people learn the children are calling for Jade, fear takes over and they turn on him. The town weaponizes human nature against itself. Every single time. 5 loops. Same result. The grave with 7 stones. The exit code. The hallucination spirals deeper into the township's underground tunnels, tracking a path to the clearing where the smiley creature was born. Jade is violently shoved into an open grave surrounded by 7 strategically placed stones. Hidden theory number 2. The 7 stones are a lock, not a random number. 7 stones around a grave in a Stonehenge-like formation is a deliberate ritual configuration. This is likely the physical mechanism that keeps the Anghkooey children trapped. The stones are not decoration. They are a seal. Moving or breaking them in the right sequence could be what releases the children and collapses the curse. How Jade believes he can get out. The 3-step theory. Jade emerges completely sober and immensely confident, realizing that his ticket out of the township involves 3 things: navigating the tunnels, mimicking the violin music, and orchestrating a completely secretive rescue mission for the Anghkooey children without alerting the rest of the paranoid town. Break those 3 steps down carefully. Step 1. Secrecy. The message is that Jade has to answer the call of the children in a discreet fashion. Probably go solo while orchestrating whatever rescue mission needs to be planned. Because if the word gets out, he's going to face the same fate as his predecessors. The moment anyone else finds out, he dies. Again. Step 2. The violin/music. This is the hidden language of Fromville. Miranda used art to communicate with the entity. Victor's drawings mapped the town's history. Music, specifically the violin, appears to be the frequency the Anghkooey children respond to. Jade playing violin may literally be the signal that opens the pathway. Step 3. The tunnels and the grave. The underground tunnel system leads directly to the sacrifice site. A large stone slab covers a pit filled with bones that are likely to be the children's. Jade going down there, alone, with the violin, to that specific grave with 7 stones, is likely the complete sequence needed. The Scarecrow dolls. The nightmare origin theory. This is the most chilling hidden reveal of the episode, and almost everyone is going to miss its deeper meaning. There's this line, "They said he gave them nightmares, so he threw them in the lake. But one day that man died, and his nightmares came out of the lake." Hidden theory number 3. The dolls are literally manifested nightmares. A man, possibly an early Fromville authority figure or even a previous version of a key character, was being tormented by nightmares he couldn't control. He threw them into the lake to get rid of them. When he died, the nightmares had no host, so they became physical. The scarecrow dolls are those nightmares given a body. This connects to the broader mythology. Fromville doesn't create monsters. It materializes psychological trauma and gives it teeth. Tabitha's flash. The girl by the red rocks. There's a flash of a young girl by the red rocks that we should be familiar with by now, confirming one more thing those dreams were about. Tabitha used to have nightmares of this place, and they turned out to not only be her real memories. Hidden theory number 4. Tabitha has also lived here before. Just like Jade has 5 past incarnations, Tabitha's childhood nightmares are actually suppressed memories from a previous loop in Fromville. The young girl by the red rocks is a past version of Tabitha herself. She and Jade are not random victims. They are recurring players in a loop that the entity deliberately resets every time they get too close to the answer. The biggest hidden theory of all. What Anghkooey really means, the word Anghkooey means remember. The episode confirms that Jade was killed in the past, adding to theories about cyclical suffering. Flashbacks reveal that the man who threw his nightmares into the lake is the origin of these creatures, suggesting Fromville feeds on collective suffering and transforms it into physical manifestations. The ultimate theory. The entire curse of Fromville is built on deliberately induced forgetting. The entity wins every single loop because nobody remembers what happened before. The mushrooms didn't give Jade new information. They restored what was always his. The Anghkooey children aren't calling for help randomly. They are calling specifically for Jade because across 5 lifetimes, he is the only one who ever came close to remembering enough to save them. The way out of Fromville is not a physical door or a road. The way out is memory itself. When Jade finally remembers completely, plays the violin at the right place, breaks the 7-stone seal, releases the children, the town loses its power source and the loop ends permanently. The warning nobody is talking about. Young Jade says that Tabitha's future is worse than Jade's. That single line is the most terrifying thing in the entire episode. Jade gets killed by his neighbors. That is already horrific. But Tabitha's fate is described as worse than that. What is worse than being murdered by your own people? Being the one who has to watch it happen? Or being the one the entity uses to make it happen? Tabitha may not be a victim in the next loop. She may be the weapon. This episode quietly handed us the entire roadmap to escaping Fromville, wrapped inside a mushroom trip so nobody would believe it was real. Jade now holds the answer. The question is whether he survives long enough and stays secret enough to use it.